Alrighty, what is up out there, podcast family? Welcome back to another episode of the Hook It podcast. Before we drop in on this episode, I want to say a quick thank you to some of our show sponsors. First up, this particular episode is brought to you by the legends over at Works and their portable HydroShot pressure washer. The Works HydroShot is unlike any other pressure washer on the market as it has a super unique and useful function. How can a pressure washer be unique? I hear you say. Surely it just sprays water and clean stuff. Well, the Works HydroShot uses a PowerShare battery and draws fresh water from any source no matter how remote you are. All you got to do is dip the hose into some water. It could be a stream, a river, a puddle, the bathtub, or the bucket that comes free with the HydroShot, and voila, you can wash your bike or anything else right by the side of the trail or easily at home. Personally, I use it after every ride. Pretty much if my bike's got a little bit of dirt on it, because I have to store my bike inside the house. So it prevents arguments as well. You could say it's sort of changed our relationship. Anyway, the rotating head allows switching from mist through to pulsating sprayer capable of eliminating caked on dirt. It's available in numerous models, including a full kit version, which comes with a soap bottle attachment. They do a body-only version and also a new brushless model too. It's capable of producing up to 10 times the power of a water hose. The HydroShot includes the 20-volt PowerShare battery that you can also use to power other Works tools. Works have very kindly actually just sent me a strimmer for my new lawn that I just laid, which I'm looking forward to trying out. So same battery, swap it from the power washer, HydroShot over to the strimmer, no problem. The HydroShot is available to buy from select retailers only, which are Amazon, Argos, Halfords, Toolstation, and their official eBay store. Or check out their new UK website, works-uk.com. So CBD, it's kind of the it thing right now in health and wellness spaces, and it's for good reason. If you've listened to any of these podcast episodes, you will know I am by no means a scientist. Far from it, actually. And I'm sure you've seen and heard all the positive research and stories about CBD products. But you have to be careful where you're going to buy it from. Do not trust these CBD cowboys that are just trying to cash in. Natural Leaf CBD is a family-run business based in Cheshire here in the UK. And they're in the market for the right reasons. Unlike plenty of petrol stations, vape shops and animal sanctuaries, they know what they're talking about when it comes to CBD. And in my opinion, it is the best CBD I've ever tried. All Natural Leaf products are full spectrum, which means you get the full cannabinoids and not just the CBD, which is pulled out of the crops. They are organic and vegan friendly, so you aren't going to be ingesting any pesticides or fertilizers. They use a CO2 extraction system to ensure you get a clean product with a guaranteed strength. What is on the bottle or tin is exactly what you're going to be putting into your body. Sustainability is also a big part of the business too, so all the bottles, tins and packaging is 100% recyclable. If you want to help support the podcast and help support a legit company, then give Natural Leaf CBD a try. Just head to all the W's, naturalleafcbd.co.uk. And if you want to enter the code HKTPod10, you can bag 10% off everything on the store too. All the links for the website and the promo code are in the show description below. Last but not least, there would be no podcast if it wasn't for Hook It Products. We are a UK-based distribution company. We specialise in making all of our own products in-house right here in Sheffield. And go have a look, guys. If you want to head to hookitproducts.co.uk, that's hktproducts.co.uk, you'll see all of our lovely goods. Enter the promo code podcast and you'll get 10% off anything and everything on the store. And if you really want to help support the podcast, then check out the merch store too. Bag yourself a t-shirt, look fresh, up your Tinder game, and you'll forever be stylish. Okay, guys, so This is a fun and interesting episode. Many people might recognise Tyler's last name as it's pretty legendary, I guess, in motocross, supercross and action sports. Tyler is the brother of Ryan Villopoto, and in this episode we chat about their crazy and unique upbringing, injuries, family sacrifices, and often Tyler's sort of strange position in feeling like he's living underneath sort of Ryan's shadow a little bit, but having a very similar speed and determination through growing up. But most importantly, Tyler recently made the switch over from racing moto to mountain bike. And it's interesting to hear his experiences in the mountain bike industry. He rides for Specialized as a brand ambassador and a bunch of other brands too have got involved to help Tyler out. I first became aware of Tyler actually through, well, we get into it in the episode, but sort of I started seeing him riding more on Instagram. So if you don't already follow Tyler, then I highly recommend you check out his riding style because he brings a certain moto flair to mountain biking, which I think is really cool. And it's obvious that he has a crazy, unique and natural talent for mountain biking. But anyway, let's not let me waffle on anymore and let's get into this episode with Tyler Villopoto. Enjoy. I mean, we've just been talking off air, hit record, the big red button, finally. I feel like every time I do one of these episodes, I'm like, finally, we got to do this. But this has legit taken, I mean, what, probably 6 months of talking?
Yeah, at least 6 months for sure.
So thank you.
But it's worth it, you know. I know we've been busy.
Yeah, we've been busy. I guess a global pandemic throws the spanner in the works and just screws up everybody's plans. But yeah, finally, man.
Yeah, it's definitely been strange. Not going to get into that too much, you know. But I think it's a bunch of BS, man. They're just trying to control us.
Really? Yeah. Are you on that bandwagon? Yeah, I'm so like torn with the whole thing. Again, it's probably a rabbit hole which we maybe should skirt around a little bit.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, the more I'm learning about it, the more the thing is, there's so many different sort of points of view that it's hard to know who to believe and what to believe. And the more totally. Like I've looked into like the the what would you say, sort of how important it is to sort of stay healthy and stuff like that, the more I realise that it is not as serious as they made out first, but I can see why they might have done that and whatever. I get nervous when we talk about it because there's always
I mean, I could start ranting about this and that, you know, totally. I could go off on a path, but no true point to it. I think it's all BS, man. I'm just curious to see what 2021 looks, you know, like. I think I'm hoping, you know, this isn't going in a bad direction and they're trying to control and change things in a weird way. So we'll see.
I think it's one of those, isn't it? Time's going to tell. It's one of them. We just got to go with the flow for a little bit with this thing, right? And I mean, personally, just do what I can to remain healthy and remain sort of, I guess, mindful of how I'm being around other people. And if it is as, you know, scary as what they've said, I don't want to be that guy that's regretting giving it someone. So I'm just keeping my distance from everybody still. I'm doing my own thing and absolutely loving it as well at the same time. And I love my new lifestyle of just being at home more and riding bikes more than I used to. And obviously I had this podcast series with Ollie which did really well, so that was pretty fun. But yeah,
it's great, man, to see.
It's strange times for sure. Before we get into it like too heavy, I've purposefully not done too much research into you, but it's interesting because there's not much out there on you anyway. So for people who maybe don't know who you are when the name, you know, your name flashed up on the podcast feeds, so you're, I mean, obviously part of a motorcycle family is probably fair to say. And two-wheeled enthusiast. You know, my grandfathered into racing, you know, motorcycles or two wheels, and it's something we really didn't pick to do, but it's something we do really well. Okay,
so.
Fair. All right. So yeah, I sort of purposefully didn't do too much research because I'm, you know, one of the reasons that I reached out in the first place was I was just kind of fascinated with you and your story. I think you've probably got one of the most unique stories in all of motorsport and action sports. which I'm looking forward to learning more about. And like I said, I didn't want to look into it too much or watch too much stuff. I sort of just wanted to sit here and hear some of the stuff and some of the questions that I've got like from you. But I'm curious, man. Have you ever done a podcast or anything like that?
I've done some small stuff back in the day when I was, doing moto. There was just some smaller stuff, some interviews and podcasts, but nothing too much. I was definitely recluse with my career. And even off my out of the racing, industry, even somewhat my personal life. In social media output, it was 10% of what I could have put out. It's So yeah, I mean, I may have somewhat could have done more or would have liked to have done more, but I never stopped doing, man. I'm doing every day. So it's
I think it's
more
cool,
one of those people that just is actually out there doing it, and it's hard to actually try to document the days when you're actually doing it.
yeah, dude, for sure. Like, you're just living it. You're not trying to get brownie points for what you do or anything like that. I think that's really cool, and I kind of got that vibe anyway from you, that was the case. You're not the sort of guy, I don't think, that just sort of shies away from riding bikes. Let's say, for example, it's part of you. You're gonna be doing it. You're just not as active as certain other people are on social media and stuff. So that's cool.
No, totally.
I respect that for sure. I do respect that. But then, like, even with your career in the past, there's still not much out there. It's still kind of like you were saying, you came over to the UK, but if you try and find any of that stuff, it's pretty sort of hard to find on the internet.
Yeah, totally.
And just for context too, I guess, for people listening, we got kind of connected first because you must have inquired about buying a Kotick bike.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So the guys
I reached out to Kotick like a long time ago.
It was
3 years ago.
Probably 2 or 3 years ago, right? And one of the guys from Kotick who does the marketing called me and it was like, "Have you heard of this guy Tyler Villopoto?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, of course I have." And he's like, "Oh, he's inquired about a bike," and I'm like, "Guys, do it. Whatever it is, just do it. It would be super cool." It doesn't look like you guys figured anything out, but that was like the first time that I think I got a bit more switched on to like you, and you were still on the scene and you were riding mountain bikes. And then, obviously the podcast came up and, has started doing really well. And I thought, dude, you would make such an interesting guest to have on here. So here we are.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. Serious. I thought it was cool you reached out and, just transitioning over, from motocross to mountain bike. It's super familiar. Obviously it has 2 wheels, brakes, but it's missing the motor. But the industry is completely different. The racing atmosphere and just the whole vibe of the industry is completely different. So it's been a blessing for me to be able to transfer my skill over into something that it works as well as it does. I've been blessed. Obviously my grandfather, taught my dad, and my dad taught me and instilled this skill to go fast, man. So I definitely am blessed in that aspect, but no, things are going great for us, man. We had some support throughout the year with some smaller companies and this and that, some grassroots companies, and we've kept a few relationships going and started some new ones, and awesome. Just super happy about where things are going. So.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm looking forward again to like taking a bit of a deeper dive into this, but I'm curious too. First up, do you get many requests for interviews and podcasts and stuff like that? Because again, on a slightly selfish perspective, I'm just interested in it, like in you and your story and stuff. So do you get much of that coming through? Do you choose to sort of shy away, or
not so much anymore? For a while there, it was more so coming in when I was trying to race, or I was racing, and I was racing in Canada and in Europe and here and there. And had a lot of injuries growing up, obviously, chasing my brother, trying to impress my own family and trying to gain the respect of the industry and your own family to be somebody in the industry. It's not easy. It's very cutthroat, as is mountain biking. I've seen it's a very small a percentage of people that actually can make something out of it.
For sure. I think it's like that in everything,
with
right?
money or a lifestyle, it's not easy. So
yeah, for sure. Again, looking forward to getting into that a little bit more, but I always like to kind of kick things off kind of at the beginning and do a bit of a sort of timeline about your life and how we've got to where we are right now, sitting on this podcast with some random dude from England who's a bit of a fanboy.
No, good, man. No,
so
yeah.
tell me a little bit, dude, about like childhood. I guess you grew up in Washington, I'm gonna guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Washington State, across the water from Seattle,
Yep.
Pacific Northwest.
So
Rains
where
a lot.
you are right now?
Yeah, right here, right now.
Okay.
It's a beautiful day out right now. I would have had you guys out for the interview outside, but it's too bright, so I was all washed out. So, but no, man, it's a beautiful area. It rains a lot, so we traveled quite a bit to California. Almost every winter, we'd be down there a few months every year.
Yeah.
And as well, like I said, we were blessed. My father, we did more than I could ever say, like probably more than I'll be able to do for my child or children. But yeah, no, we traveled every single state and raced in every state, and all the way to Florida and Texas and this and that. Had friends and family out all the way across to every state. And so yeah, we spent a lot of time in California with Blake Baggett, and then we ended up moving down there and basically renting places until my brother bought one. But yeah, no, it was this is where we reside still, is Washington State, basically.
Oh, really?
So.
Okay, awesome. I mean, it's probably fair to say that your childhood wasn't normal by a long stretch, right?
No, definitely not.
Doesn't sound normal as well. I mean, when did things sort of start getting serious with the motorcycle aspect? When did you first... I mean, yeah, I know you're probably similar to me in that bikes have always been around, so you don't really remember that time of, oh yeah, I first saw it here, or it's just always been there. But do you remember a sort of time where you go, right, this is where you fell in love with motorcycling? Motocross, for example.
I mean, yeah, I have memories in the beginning, the start, this and that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it wasn't something we picked to do. We just did it. It was serious. It was serious even off the bat. Like, It's funny about it is when you look at photos of, the very start of me and my brother riding, we were on, PW50. He ended up getting a 60, Cowie 60. But we were wearing like jeans and like some old leather boots and just gear that looked like trash. We basically trailer trash, racing at the track. But at the very start of it, when you see my mom and my dad at the starting line or on the side of the track, we're going, they're cheering us on, but it wasn't, like cheering as a fun, like, go. It was screaming serious, like go for the win, and we were just, it was at the very start. So at the very beginning, it was serious. But yeah, it was fun. Obviously, we enjoyed what we did. It was not an average lifestyle. We somewhat were envious or jealous of our cousins that had friends and hung out locally and did normal things and went to school and had an average lifestyle. But obviously, now we look back on it and we're like, shoot, man, we were so blessed, and it was amazing what we actually did. It all happened so fast, and basically it was over in a blink of an eye for all of us.
Well, yeah. Dude, so many people as well sort of do grow up with that, week in, week out grind of going to the races with family and financial pressure and all that sort of stuff. But I think not many people probably go through it to the extent that you probably did. I mean, that was all in pressure from almost the get-go. But I'm curious, like, why do you think that was? Like, where was that pressure coming from? Was it like financial pressure? Was it just a competitive family, or
the financial thing? My dad was he built homes for himself. He was his own boss, so just it's amazing what he did on that side of things as well. He was he's such a complex man, but such a simple man, and it's amazing with how simple he was with how complex he got. But yeah, he built homes and basically turned around and flipped them and put all the money back into another home, but he put half that money back into racing. I remember him spending big money every single year to travel, to invest into, to go into the races. So that's probably, that's probably why it was as serious as it was. But, it was definitely serious, and it all happened so fast. I mean, I can't really.
So did you do normal school, or were you homeschooled?
No, we were homeschooled. We were all homeschooled. My sister did go to school. She did have somewhat of a normal lifestyle.
Right.
But she did get drug along to all the races and didn't get to do so much for herself. Yeah. But she ended up moving back in her teenage years with my mom to the home state in Washington, and we kind of still traveled about and lived in California for a few years after that.
Right.
But yeah, it's just a crazy lifestyle for sure. It's a blessing and a curse for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. In more ways than one. I mean, I can't even. I can sort of get a glimpse of what it was like. I think being around that scene here in the UK, and then also sort of my time. I was actually out living in California so Blake was still on 85s when I was there. So that must have been around the sort of time when you were there.
Yeah, we were down there.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember my job was basically taking people who came out to California on holiday, and I'd take them to the track. And it's funny because, no matter what day you go to Glen Helen, whether it's the Wednesday practice or you go to Comp Edge on the Thursday, I guess you start piecing it together that, fuck, like, these kids are here every day too. Like, they're not going to school. I don't know. How did that even work? Do you do school in the evening? Like, how? Or is it all motocross and nothing else?
Depending on who you are,
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for at least myself. We were homeschooled.
Yeah.
We're not dumb kids by no means. We're smart. But yeah, no, it wasn't not any sort of a normal lifestyle or schooling by no means. We somewhat taught ourselves. We had the teacher's pamphlet basically as well as ours. And
Right.
so, I mean, you answered the questions before you looked at the teacher's pamphlet, but 80% of the time you were right. So that was enough to pass. So
yeah. It's such a unique thing, isn't it?
It is definitely. It's a strange lifestyle, man. It's all in. You can't. It's everybody invested. Only one person made it. Obviously I raced. Obviously my sister, she did this and that, but only one person, truly made a career out of it. And it took everybody to sacrifice. Obviously my dad, my mom, my sister. She definitely got drug along to make a champion. So, and it's not easy. You see how cutthroat the industry is. You see how much families put into it, money, time, their heart and soul. And then most of them are broken off or eaten up and spit out, before they're even a man,
Yeah.
It's a bit sad, but and it's hard to somewhat fall back into an average or a normal lifestyle after you've lived, these highs and lows and ups and downs and, traveling somewhat like a rock star or if you want to call it that. But it's
the schedule for sure.
It's not an average lifestyle by no means. So.
No. Yeah, like I said, man, it's something that I personally just find super interesting. I think the whole American school system's really interesting if you're from the UK or Europe too, because it's so different to how we do things here. I know, with college football or whatever, I think at least with that is the kids are sort of made to go to school, and the teachers are still keeping an eye on them. Whereas with motocross, I guess it's more of, or other sports, I guess it's more of like a family choice of, no, we've got to take you out of school so you can train to go racing at the weekend.
Totally.
It's
no, you can't do both. And some do. I guess Dungy did. Supposedly went to school and this and that. You can do it. It's just it's not ideal. It's not the norm, obviously. To keep your kid, especially through high school, there's just too many distractions and there's too much time off of the bike or away from what you are trying to dedicate yourself to. You have to envelop. You need to just completely immerse yourself in the one thing to obviously make it happen. So.
Do you think in later life, with where you are now, you took a lot of lessons away from that? Did you, for example, did you go back to school, or have you always sort of shied away from that stuff?
So I did. I only went to the 9th grade, and then I could have finished the last 2 years or whatever it was, but I went racing and this and that, and kind of stepped away from it. But then I ended up coming back and doing my high school equivalency test, or some people would call it a GED, but it wasn't a GED. It was an actual high school equivalency test to get your graduation through some sort of a school program. I did it.
Okay.
But a few years later, after stepping away from school and books and this and that, I ended up doing a test, on a computer, and it was fucking as easy could be, and passed it like that, So it wasn't like being away from school and not being in school. It wasn't detrimental to us by no means, because we still, we were still living like everybody else is living, even that it wasn't an average lifestyle. We're still reading, we're still having to do mathematical equations, this and that. Life life is nothing but it'll school you every day, so you learn every day.
School of life. I just think, in my personal sort of I guess life and education journeys, I like hated school all the way up until I was
Terrible.
16. Hated it, and I left school at
massively.
16. You can leave school here at 16 years old, and as soon as I could leave, I was out of there. And then you get a little bit older and you start thinking, actually, that was kind of interesting and I want to learn about that. And then you start
it's not the smartest, for sure. I understand what you're getting on that aspect, that you could have probably soaked in a bit more then.
Yeah,
it been better
you just
for
didn't
now,
want
obviously.
to, like, you're just over it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to be honest, I wanted to go do what you were doing. In fact, I wanted to go riding, but didn't have that opportunity. So yeah, I don't know, it's such an interesting topic though, with it can't be an easy decision, taking a kid out of school. And
no, it's not, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm planning on having one kid.
Okay.
Hoping it's a boy, but if it's a girl, it's all good.
It's gonna school.
Just crazy world we live in. I don't know if I want to have too many kids running around. Everybody's worrying me about, oh, you got to have two at least. Have a friend. But I'm like, yeah, I'll be his friend.
That's funny. Yeah, it's interesting though, man. Growing up like that, real interesting. And there must have been some crazy times traveling and going to the races week in, week out, and all that sort of stuff. When was the sort of tipping point for you where you realised that, I don't know, like, when did it become almost not, I don't know, trying to figure out how to word this. Is there a point, I guess, where you sort of finished school and racing became everything? Did that happen with you or not? I'm a bit sort of confused where...
So the big thing is why there's not too much social media or content out there on me, is because when I was growing up through the amateur career and racing, like every time I would get like a peak and a point where I was going to go to the nationals every year and do well and actually be able to be up there was an injury. And then the years that I did get, top fives and was at all the nationals, I was one of the dudes, many years, but then there was just so many ups and downs, many injuries along the way. And that affects obviously massively throughout, affects you and obviously your career and what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was at least one break or blowout, right, to two every single year, to where then it was like, my family kind of got over it when I became a teenager. They're like, yeah, you should just get a normal job, and obviously that makes me want to do it more,
Right.
So it's like,
I sort of, that's harder, one thing that I did read is you were a bit sort of rebellious, I guess. Were they saying no and you were like, no, I'm going to show you what's up? Is that accurate?
And I thought and then I thought I could do it on my own, and later on, like, I obviously they instilled everything into me, but later on in the year, like, I took many years off, a couple years off motocross, stopped riding, somewhat became a normal dude, and then I started working out at a gym, I started to get in shape again, and I worked out for an entire year at LA Fitness, like bodybuilder, like I got all yoked. It was with Jake Canada, a kid that used to race, and I started to try to ride again. And when I got back on the bike, faster than ever, stronger than I've ever been, was going to make a drive for it. Ended up breaking my back.
Oh, man.
And that was when I kind of had to move away from California and move to Washington. And that is when I even became more of a normal dude, just living.
Really, yeah. What was that in normal years like before getting back on a bike? What was normal like for you?
Well, I tried to get a couple normal jobs, which was not easy, but I worked doing this and that, cabinetry, flooring, and then I did some oysters for a while. I was doing clams and oysters on the beaches, which was really cool, a cool job that took my mind off racing. But then that whole business deal fell apart, and then I wanted to race again. So I got two bikes and started riding again. And basically at that point I was 18, 19. My parents were like, spitting in my face saying, you're crazy, you're nuts for trying to do this at this point, you've had your run and you're done, son, dude, you're fucking hang it up, dude, you're a loser. Yeah. So I just was like, couldn't handle that. I kept grinding away. I was still living at their house at this point. I used their roof over my head and used their fridge, and they blessed me with letting me live with them. But so I ended up riding my motorcycle. I got some funding from my grandmother.
Nice.
ended up making it to California. Left in the winter here in Washington. It started snowing. We left. Me and my buddy, I headed to California. Started riding down there, and then I ended up. My brother had a little bit of help, but he saw that I was going fast, and I was serious about trying to race for myself and my. So he ended up somewhat lining the deal up, and I did raced for Factory Kawasaki Monster Canada, and it was cool. 2 years of doing that.
Yeah.
Had some ups and downs.
Okay.
Met my wife. Had some wins, many podiums. But yeah, it's. I'm not quite sure where I was going with that, but yeah, no, it's definitely.
Do you just feel like there was just something was not finished yet? Maybe, I don't know.
No, exactly. So after doing that, I felt great about my life, and then I went to Europe, and I was over there and had an amazing ride for Factory PC. Raced Bercy Supercross.
Sick. Cool.
Got second. The second night or the third night, I should have settled. I was in second. I should have settled for at least third or even fourth. I still could have ended up with the overall, and I trying to pass for first and just crashed through the whole 3 nights away.
Oh.
Would have been Prince of Bercy if I just settled. 2 laps to go. And it would have had factory rides in Europe and factory rides in America. Like they would have asked for me to come back for the GPs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But everything happens for a reason. So
they say, yeah.
Yeah. So then I flew home, but I ended up trying to race hurt and race the AMA arena crosses, which was like the worst thing I could have done for myself.
Really? Right.
And raced on that broken kneecap from Bercy, like without any time off, like just straight to racing with an atrophied leg, like had no muscle in it.
And like the most full contact sort of moto sport.
Yeah, dude, as bad as it could be. So yeah, that happened to me, and then that kind of wrecked my outdoor year. I had a great 450 year in Canada, and then I had that ride, and Bercy was was somewhat of a toss, and then arena cross shouldn't have done it, and that led up into somewhat compounding problems for outdoors, which I should have recovered, gotten the hardware out of my leg, and then like been proper for outdoors, which I didn't. So then I was really screwed myself for outdoors. I was just deficient and just struggling, and had some wins still, and had some good weekends, had some podiums, but was just so up and down with just myself.
Right.
And then I went to UK.
Yeah, I know you were over here for a little bit. Yeah, without.
And I was super excited about that, going super fast. Had a Supercross track in my backyard, and probably trained on the wrong dirt. I trained on hard pack, California, and when I went over there, it was like they had the gnarliest mud brought into the arenas.
Really?
And it was an outdoor. It was like an outdoor race. It was like rough and rutted and just fucking ever changing. Just so. I should have basically been riding my worst outdoor tracks.
Yeah, that's more accurate, I think, to hear.
And then I broke my tib. I broke my lower tibia like 3 weeks before flying over. So I should have. I still went with the ride, and kind of had to go over there hobbling around, not being able to practice or test, and then just go racing hurt, which is never fun. It's not good for yourself. It's not good for your career. Everybody thinks you're fucking. What's wrong with you? Basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, just lots of trials and tribulations. Even that I struggled in my amateur career and a lot of injuries, and wanted to do some more with it, and then obviously stepped away from it and come back to it. And struggled as well coming back to it. It's not easy. You try to do it on your own. It takes so much more than that though. It takes your family, or your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your friends, your aunts, your uncles, your grandmas, your grandpas, the entourage, everybody at the track, everybody holding you up, the sponsors, all of that stuff. It goes so far too, in the long run, obviously. So injuries and this and that, that doesn't obviously build a champion. So.
Well, yeah, man, it sounds like you had a hell of a career. It sounds gnarly. Again, this is also that stuff that it's not really documented anywhere. I guess you can find the results if you really wanna, but the actual stories of what was going on with you is not really out there too much, which I think is really cool.
Then along the way, like I got hurt a lot, and then a lot of the times I didn't properly take care of myself like a high level athlete would have. I kind of got sidelined, or didn't have the right rehab or I didn't come back into training the proper way that I should have possibly.
Yeah. And why do you think that is? Is it just not having the right deal? I mean, if you're financially sort of backed
it was
more
hard.
he's easier, right, to have all that stuff.
My brother, he was a bit easier to somewhat guide. He was a bit easier to guide as a nice word, or I don't want to say manipulate, but to channel or somewhat.
Okay. Yeah.
And me, I was the opposite. I kind of like.
Someone says no, you say, well, watch this sort of thing.
Yeah. So I butted heads with my own supporters, and that didn't. And your supporters, your mom and your dad at that point when you're a kid, and that doesn't lead anywhere really good. So, no, yeah, it's not. It takes so much more. Everything has to be, the gears have to flow perfectly.
I think, there's one thing we've not really, I guess, even mentioned is that your brother, you've spoken about him a couple of times. Ryan is, a very successful motocross rider. Is, I believe, 10-time AMA champion. I can't quite remember, something like that. Sorry, Ryan, if you do listen to this, but I don't know.
It's something. I don't know.
It's something. But I mean, one of the questions that I wanted to ask, and hopefully it's okay, is what was it like growing up and sort of going through your career with that there at the same time? And I know, and I want to be mindful that you get asked that quite a lot, but it's something that I think is really interesting to talk about. Is what was it like, amateur time, and also then when Ryan's doing his pro thing and you were doing your pro thing, what was it like for you?
It was hard along the way, even from the beginning, and that's probably why I butted heads or this or that, but along the way, even from the beginning as a child, whether it's jealousy or this or that, or you're envious or but just from along the way, even just getting hand-me-downs off the bat, it wasn't too severe. I started getting my own bikes, obviously, when I started getting faster. I started getting my own bikes, new bikes. I did get a brand new KTM 50 and a new KTM 60. I got his used 50 PW. I got his used 60.
So is Ryan the older brother?
Yeah, he's a year and 8 months older.
Okay.
But no, just chasing him, man. Just trying to be honest. I just tried to chase him. I just trying to somewhat, I wouldn't say impress or just show. You're in the shadows your whole life. You're trying to have your light shine amongst somebody's light that's already shining very bright. So yeah, I was trying to basically even gain the respect or impress my own family, let alone obviously the industry. And then injuries along the whole way really made it hard. You're just hurt all the time, every single year. Like first year getting on a PW50, snap both arms. I think it was just every single year. It was just a severe injury. Like breaking your leg or your foot off or shattering your ankle. Or this or that. Just dumb thing left after right. So.
I think you said something really interesting there about like Ryan's career having such a light shone on it, and I think you're not unique in having an older brother and doing the same sport and pursuing the same interests, but I guess it's that magnifying glass that's on it when Ryan was doing what he was doing, and the media was starting to get hold of it, and factory deals, all those sort of things is what I can't even imagine like what it'd be like for you. You're not just a regular family going to a club meeting at the weekends and just playing around at this. It's it's becoming business. There's, like you were saying, there's homes on the line. There's fucking the amount of pressure, dude, must be like mind blowing. It really must be. Yeah.
No, totally. And
something that not a lot of people can relate to.
No, yeah. I mean, in some aspects, in different lines of work, even the average. Going to a 9-to-5 is very hard. It's not an easy lifestyle. It's stressful in its own way. Sitting at a desk obviously has its stresses as well on your body. But no, growing up, like I said, trying to, you're wanting, the painted helmets, or you're wanting the factory rides with Cowie or Yamaha. You felt you still had the same skill, and you just didn't have the results. Obviously, you didn't have the wins, which that's what it's all about. You had just as much style, skill, and ability. It just all wasn't coming together for you. and it doesn't for everybody. You know, it's like winning the lottery. There's so many people that go buy those tickets, and there's only that one guy that gets it. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
But no, I mean, when it ended up becoming pro and there was money on the line, and he actually was making big money, and there was obviously the fame came along with it. That's when I really did, I actually started to not care so much, and I really was in the shadows. I would never come out underneath the factory rig, or never really I wasn't that I wasn't supporting my brother, because when he raced, I was his biggest supporter, but when I was there at the races, I was like as if I was nobody. I was not around. I wasn't supporting him as like some of his other people were supporting him.
Right. Why do you think that is? Like, what was it about?
It was hard for me. I felt like I could have been in his shoes, or I could be there as well for myself. Just like a little kid growing up, we were fast. We saw pros at the track. Jeremy McGrath, he wanted to go get his autograph, but me or my brother never did, because we felt like that could be us one day, or we are on our way, basically. And as much as we wanted to, or somehow there's just something that held us back about going to ask for his autograph, even that he was a legend, or in our minds as a god.
He's a god, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But you had your own respect for yourself, and you kind of, this is even as a child, let alone. But so when I got older, I definitely stayed away from it, and kind of always thought that I could do it on my own, and that's never how it works. It's really hard to do certain things in life on your own. You need support, mental, physical, and whether it's family, friends, your wife, this or that. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, it's very difficult to put yourself in that position, but I can only imagine that's what it was like. And it must have been weird sort of growing up and watching the family sacrifices too, because you saw it from like a super, again, like unique perspective, because you're there doing it. But did it maybe sometimes feel like the sacrifices weren't aimed at you, they were aimed at someone else, or I don't know? Was there any of that at all? And I'm sorry if we're digging too much into your...
No, it's all good. Now I'm so dealt with it now at this point with myself. I've understand it, and come to grips with life. I'm totally okay with everything. My father passed 2 years ago, and in a way that he possibly could have not passed. So just I've come to a balance in life where I'm okay with the way that things are. And I'm not worried about the future, where things are going to go. I'm happy with where I am, what I'm done with, what I've done, and look forward to seeing what I'm going to do, because I feel as if I really haven't done what I'm supposed to do in life. God's told me my whole life to get away from the motorcycle. That's why I've been broken off so many times and been put in the hospital or in the chair to like sit on your ass by the big man upstairs, basically saying, this isn't for you. There's something else out there for you in life,
Yeah.
And it's been the hardest thing for me to acknowledge that this isn't for me, even that I have the skill, an unbelievable skill at the high level. It's been hard to walk away from motocross. It's been the most mental, physical, emotional thing to not do it. But bicycles, it's just an absolute blessing in disguise, man, because without it, I'd be basically a depressed, not a whole man. I'd be a quarter of a man.
Yeah.
But I haven't touched a dirt bike in a year. I rode it 3 times last summer, and I take my winters off because we have kind of a harsh winter here.
Okay.
I don't like to be in it for my body. It's cold, and as well for the bikes.
Yeah.
So mountain biking's a little different. I'll get out there and sweat in it, but to hang on to the dirt bike in the mud it's just a little bit different.
It's too English, isn't it? It's not fun.
Yeah. So I've only rode the bike like 10 times in the last 3 years, the motorcycle. So
really, it's
just been 100% bicycles. And I just bought a brand new dirt bike this last year and haven't even touched it. I'm about to sell it. And like, I'm like been a 2-stroke specialist.
I know, right? I know. I seen you pop up at some dream rides and stuff. Dream ride?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Stuff, there's way more of that they've wanted me to do. I should have won the 3-lap dream race at the national, but I had like a bike malfunction basically. I ended up second, but no, just so I don't ride the dirt bike too often. I've been just seriously blessed. I contacted so many companies 3 years ago. Had some luck here or there, some support. Had a local business, a small kind of grassroots Rotec bikes, Rotec cycles.
I seen you posting about those. Yeah, before.
They helped me out. The first year I was serious. We went to like Sea Otter, and we went to like every single Northwest Cup and a bunch of small events, and traveled quite a bit. And it was good to have him there because I broke like 4 wheels and like ripping derailleurs off and fucking just never ending problems on my weekends, to where if I would have tried to come into racing mountain bikes like I did on my own, I would have just had a terrible year and been like kind of not about it. But the fact that I was like factory small time, like Rotec, it's like a small business, but the guy's a great guy. Sully's his name. And, as small as it was huge for me because, it was true factory support. And it basically got my wheels rolling fast enough to move someplace else. And Specialized is helping out now. And I feel super blessed about that. Curtis Keene has been helping us out. And the bike's obviously amazing, like night and day difference. So super fast.
Tell me a little bit about sorry, just to interrupt you, but when did mountain biking come onto the radar for you?
So me and my brother were at Ponca City, and we were probably like 13, and he was probably like 14 or 15. I don't even think we were on Cowies yet. I think we were on Yamaha still. Tomacs were at the races. He was like, he's a teeny kid, a couple divisions below us, basically. He was a dwarf, like a super small kid growing up.
Right.
And he raced 50s. He was great on 50s and 60s. But we ended up buying mountain bikes from John. My brother bought, I think his bike was called a Revolver, and mine was called a 6-shooter.
Okay.
And he got a cross-country bike, and I got like an Enduro, like fucking over beefed up things. But Magira brakes and Cane Creek, this and that on it. But so we got those. We barely rode them. We rode them here and there, but we were obviously moto 100%. So we really didn't touch those because they're more like a training tool. We didn't have fun on.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have fun on them. It's like something we did to sweat to like better ourselves on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
So they just were there as a tool. But years and years went by, like 10 years went by, and I just broke these bikes, these old Tomacs. Like, it's the funniest thing ever. I broke these Tomacs out 4 years ago.
Really?
And
you still have it?
I still have them. The one fell off the car. My wife strapped the 6-shooter on the car, and it fell off and just destroyed down the freeway at 70. So sad.
Oh man.
So sad. But I have the other bike still. I gave it to my buddy. The Magira brakes are still working perfectly. Never bled. Same brake pads. But no, dude. So this bike, I broke them out of the shed. Didn't do anything to them. Just fucking started riding these bikes, riding the cross country bike, doing base rides, breaking the other bike out. And there's actually one video on my Instagram of me like Larka Larry, like people making fun of me in the mountain bike industry because I'm wearing spandex, like with no helmet, riding mountain bike, some jump line that I found on my cross country loop. And I was like, yo, babe, film me, I
gotta find that class.
But it's basically the biggest joke you've ever seen. And that was on a Tomac there, and that sparked it, dude. Like, I was just so jacked on mountain bikes at that point. Yeah. And then my buddy, he bought a really nice one, and I was like so stoked on like the level of like where the bikes have gotten. And I was really trying to get one. I built this like pump track jump inside of he had DJs as dirt jumps, and I built a dirt jump park in the backyard, and like inside of a dump truck, outside of a dump truck, like wood features, like an absolute like rad park basically.
Wow.
So I ended up getting into it. Finally landed support with somebody, got a bike. And yeah, dude, it's like I said, it's been a blessing because motocross, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse, but it's been cursing me because, it's hard to not do it or want to do it and do something with it. But, know that it's not really worth it. And as well, my body it's had enough,
Really, yeah.
I've basically fractured or broke my back a couple times and compressed discs and, got deteriorated discs. So when I ride the motorcycle, I hurt for over a week.
Really? If
I ride it the way I want to ride it, I'm hurting. My joints are hurting for like a week, and it's like, so I don't ride it often for that matter. But the mountain biking is completely different, man. It's light. It's more, I have to keep myself going rather than just hanging on for dear life. But
Yeah.
it's been great. So
amazing. So you aiming more towards? I saw. Did you do some downhill first, or some enduro races, or what? Because this must be a Villopoto thing, right? You can't just play around it. You have to go in. You go all in.
No, yeah. No, I did some cross country races. I did 2 cross country races, like this small little enduro race around my local events around my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did the full year racing downhill, which was cool. And then I did 2 years of racing downhill, and then I took a year off. And this year is we were going to race, obviously, and things obviously didn't shape up the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, there's not much racing going on right now, for sure.
I raced one event, and I had some problems. It was one of the Pro GRTs. We had 50 riders. I ended up qualifying 12th, but I had just this mechanical error. I had a plastic fender on and sucked it into the tire, and it ground me to a halt.
Really?
And I basically should have been deep into the top 10 because there's like 4 guys in front of me on the same second. And that wouldn't happen. I would have been like in front of those 4 guys. And so I felt good about my weekend going into the first race, and just threw it away on a simple turn at the bottom. So I never really got to see where I was going to land. But I feel like my speed is there. I feel like going basically as fast as you can go, obviously.
Yeah.
There's another level, race speed, when you get your perfect run going, man. It's not easy. It's not like moto. It's not like you can warm up and keep kind of trying to get that perfect lap going because you got more than one lap.
It's something I've always struggled with. I've done a couple of downhill races in my time, and I've always struggled with that whole like one run concept. Is so alien to me. I just can't get my head around it. Like, I'm used to same as you. It's like, okay, I fucked that run up, but it's all right. I got another one, or I got another lap, or I got another 10 laps. Whereas
exactly,
you have to hand it to some of the DH guys, man, because especially at
or
World Cup level,
moto format. If you could do 2 motos and then like combine your times, that would help at least.
It would definitely help the moto guys for sure. Yeah, it would. But yeah, I've never figured that out. I've only done a handful of downhill races in my time, but I've always come away going, if I just had one more run, I think I'd have been sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
So, oh man.
And another hard thing is not overriding for my race run. You have all weekend to learn the race course. It's been hard. It's not like motocross. Doing it for so many years, you just don't have to think about the track. You just know. The mountain bike, to learn the course, every single inch of it, every single rock, like it takes a few more runs than I'd like to have to put in before my race run.
Okay.
So that's something I'm still learning on, is fully memorizing everything out there on my race run. It's not easy by no means.
I was having a super interesting conversation the other day on another podcast actually, about how the transition from moto to mountain bike or downhill, enduro or whatever, seems not easy, but it's way more transferable than going the opposite way. So
I would say.
And why? Yeah. I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, why is that? How can we have, especially in downhill, Aaron Gwynn is a pretty fine example. He was a pretty good moto guy. I think a lot of people who don't know much about motocross might think he was a national champion, or he was just a pretty good moto guy. But
he understood. He knew how to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, he could do it. But he's an absolute pinner on a downhill bike. Anybody I know that comes from a motocross background just has this transferable skill which just works on a mountain bike. But you put a downhill guy on a motocross bike, different story sometimes. So I'm curious, why do you think that is?
Yeah, I have a couple opinions, ideas on that.
Yeah.
The mountain bike is so light, and the motocross is so heavy. So once you've learned to manipulate 250, 300 pounds, and understand what it's going to do, and I think the bicycle just is so light. It's almost too easy. It's almost can be irritable or sensitive underneath you, with how much you're used to be putting so much body English to ride a motorcycle. And you ride obviously a motorcycle, you hang on the motorcycle with your arms, but you actually ride it through your legs through your feet into your legs, and you just kind of stabilize the motorcycle with your hands. And that's somewhat the same with mountain biking. I definitely think you rest way more palm weight, obviously. Way more hand weight on the handlebar rather than pulling on the handlebar like a motorcycle.
Okay.
But I just think the motorcycle, to be 100% honest, and I've said it at the beginning, and I haven't said it in a while, but the first year when I tried to call people and like shoot the shit and say, dude, I'm telling you, I'm as good as I'm as good as you can get, dude. Like, just I'm worth your time, even if it's just 50%, dude. Let me show you that I'm worth your time. No, it's not easy, I was going somewhere with that.
How did you put it to sponsors? How did you put it to those guys when you were approaching people to try and get help?
Well, I had an amazing resume that my sister, she's super good on computers and with words and this and that. So she put a beautiful resume and profile together for me.
Right.
So I've been sending that out for years for motocross, and it helps out for obviously my motocross thing. But with the bicycling, it helped out as well. But I would call anybody that had an actual contact number. I would call and ask for the director of marketing and try to like sneak my way in to whoever was at the company before, the rider manager, this or like, the director.
Yeah.
And talk to the person before I even sent the email. And which back in the day, maybe that's how it was done. Nowadays, it's not so much done that way.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't easy to reach out to people because there's so many people obviously in line already. There's so many people that are in the industry already.
It's a bigger talent pool too, I think.
Yeah,
personally.
There's so many talented people.
Yeah,
there's some.
It's a bit more accessible than moto, so you find that the talent pool is a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and then as well I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes or get in the line before somebody. I know there's so many credible, respected people, and there's people in line that are trying to, find their way. But motocross has definitely blessed me. It's given me the skill to where it transfers over so well to where I feel about as good as you can be. I don't do tricks or this or that, but speed wise, the motocross intensity has carried over massively into the mountain bike.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. The intensity of it is already having that sort of program in your brain where you can be that intense. Maybe if you've not got experience with that, it's tough.
It is, and it's helped out, and it's actually made it hard because when I go to race, like I've noticed mountain biking, sometimes it's like you slow down to go faster, and you just try to hit your marks. But when you're trying to go like bonsai, like you kind of jab it in on stuff, or it's notchy, it's not as fast. Sometimes you feel like you're going fast, but you're not going as fast.
Yeah.
And you only got that one run to make that perfect, everything happen so smoothly and perfectly. It's hard not to be notchy amongst that intensity.
For sure.
While you're trying to carry that intensity.
Yeah.
No,
it's a science.
It's definitely, it's been hard. Yeah. It's definitely no joke. It's a science. It's a mass respect for the guys that ride mountain bikes at all levels. Even the same thing with motocross. You throw your leg over a bicycle and you're going down a hill or around a track, even at the beginning levels. Like it's even more dangerous, I'd say, almost because they don't know or don't have all the safety, body and muscle memory to get them out of this or that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So I respect it, man. Whether you're at the lowest level, the highest level in moto and mountain bike, it's no joke.
I'm curious, where's the stuff going for you? Where's mountain biking going? Is there like a bit of a plan in place? Are you trying to get somewhere, or I don't know. Where's your head at with that?
I would love, obviously, like if like it would be a dream. I got some people in my corner, like friends and my buddies, all my people, my entourage or family, friends that, believe in me, that want to see me do way more than, even that I would try to do with it. But they believe in me. They think that I could do something with it, whether they saw me go race like a full season, for a bigger season than just what I have around here.
Yeah.
Or get factory support. I believe that I have a skill to where if I was to be around the right people or in the right channel to where it would benefit me in a way. In that aspect, I mean, mechanics, factory mechanics, people that very knowledgeable in the aspect that can help me even get to that next level. Because I feel like I'm at the highest level that I can get to almost at myself. But I keep learning every year. Like this last 2 years, the first year I was just tracking my tires, like carrying tons of speed and tracking. Now I'm able to like, and then like it became like the rear end started shrouping a lot, but now I'm able to like both tires are like sliding and sending around both, like
sick.
Which is so much of a finer thing, you know, the mountain bike, than the dirt bike, because it's so light. And I don't know, it's definitely different, but motocross has helped me out so much. I feel definitely blessed. So
if anyone hasn't seen you ride, definitely, you don't post on Instagram much, but definitely go check out your riding style. And like, where's the riding style come from? Because you posted a clip on Instagram not that long ago, and I watched it. I was like, fuck, like you're going fast and really stylish.
Moto
as well.
Or mountain bike?
Mountain
Moto
bike.
Or mountain bike?
Mountain bike.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think motocross has helped out. Like I've always ridden with a lot of passion. I don't just ride to be like for the, you know, the win or to be serious or like, I'm like out there to have as much fun and get as much feeling out of the bike and, you know, vibe off of it as hard as I can.
Yeah. Who do you like watching when it comes to mountain biking? Like, is there anyone you sort of, I don't know, riders you watch or ride with? Like, who do you ride with, honest, actually?
I don't have as many dudes as I'd like. You know, my dudes are just barely underneath of me. So like, I rarely get to ride with somebody that's as fast as me or never faster. It's like, so when I do get to ride with somebody that's at that high level or on their trail, you know, they show me their trail and it's like, fuck, this is so sick because you're riding the same speed or like you're pushing me basically.
Yeah.
You know, but, no, there's tons of dudes I watch. Like I follow quite a few dudes, but, it's hard to pull all of them off the top of my head, but obviously the 50 to 1 videos are super sick. All the boys at 50 to 1, you know, fuck, I love that shit. I can't get enough of it.
Really? They're all local boys to where I'm from too.
Dude.
Yeah.
I cannot get enough of it. Like when I was in UK, I wish I would have been mountain bike so that I could have like, now that I've like been mountain bike a little bit, I got somewhat contact with a couple of the boys over there, like Bernard Kerr and this and that. Like,
oh, really?
If I ever made it to UK again, I would like, it'd be like a dream of mine to like go ride with the boys over there at their local spots, you know? For
sure. That'd be sick, man. It'd be awesome if you could get over here and do some downhill races or something in the UK. Show you what mud's all about.
Dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, we ride quite a bit here in Washington, but I think it's a little bit different. We have a bit more rock and this and that to hold in the dirt together. It looks like you guys got some like clay, like muddy.
We got
like
a bit of everything
loose.
Dotted around the UK. Yeah. Like if you go down south, like where Bernard's from, it's a bit more loamy. Where I'm from, it's a bit more like grit, stone, and rock. And then I guess as you carry on up north into Scotland, you've just got fucking everything. We've definitely got a vast amount of different riding sort of like surfaces and conditions and all sorts here. But the country's so small as well. You know, driving from top to bottom here is going to take you, I don't know, 12 hours or something, but you're not even out of the state, I don't think, if you drive 12 hours where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we got a huge mix here. Gotta be cool, man, if you came over for sure. That'd be sick. Yeah, especially if you know
That'd
Bernard.
be my dream. I got over there and super, super cool time. Like some of the best memories I've ever made out of all my traveling was in UK, you know, and like you guys are from there. It's like your homeland. You're probably like, yeah, it's all right, you know. But no, just the experience, you know, like I don't know if you've ever heard of a place called Wheeldon Farms. It's a little motocross indoor facility.
Okay, yeah, sort of. I know of it.
By Devon.
Yeah.
It's by Devon.
Down south.
Totnes.
Okay.
But just staying in a small old town, like, you know, like on the single roads, you had to drive on a single road, like with a huge hedge to get into like this small little town, like this old brick town or stone town. And just the experience of staying over there, man. And then my mechanic, Balo, he was over there. He had a Specialized and, you know, doing some base rides and just riding around the local area. Just great experience, you know, great people, great food, just with this, something I'm trying to do is get back over there in the future with my wife, because I got to take me and my wife. We traveled there and stayed for 3 months.
Okay, you here for 3 months, really?
An amazing experience, you know. So
yeah, it would be good, man. Get yourself over here. Come trip. Make sure you come in summer though. It's not so good in winter, man. It'll make you miserable.
It was pretty brutal. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nasty, but I'm used to it. It's no different than where I'm from.
Really?
So,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
So you said before that you got something going on with Specialized now. So what's that deal look like? Are you like ambassador, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean that's what they call it, an ambassador. You know, they're helping me out as the best that they can, and there was talk of more help, you know, for this 2021, but haven't really started to renegotiate. It's just somewhat, it's just balled into what it was last year, and I'm kind of just maybe be okay with that, because it's good enough for now, and as well. Like you said, I haven't done as much as I probably should have on my social media. I've been really wanting to put out more content. I have like ideas for all these videos. I got a video. I built a ton of trails. Like I've been building trails the last 3 years. It's just like living in the woods, like
nice,
just deforesting basically.
And is the riding good where you are?
Yeah, unreal. Basically.
Is it
unreal?
Right.
Yeah, I got some amazing trails just right around the house. So it's good riding.
Okay. And is there any? No, you said you don't really ride with anyone who's crazy fast on it. But is there no local pros or anything like that around? No.
There's a kid. There's a Luke Strobel, I think is his name. I don't know if you've ever heard that name.
Nah.
Luke.
No.
And I don't really get to ride with any of the pros. You know, like to. It's been somewhat. It's just like moto. Everybody's got their life. We're all so busy. It's been somewhat hard to collaborate with this or that people. And I have plans to do more so in the future. I've had talk to like trying to go ride that Black Sage with Carson Stork, that whole event. I'm not sure if that's going this year or not, but I was hoping to link up with some dudes along the way. But it's and then I got my sister's wedding in September, so I'm gonna be in California. I'm trying to go down there and ride with all the boys down in California, like Curtis and whoever's down there. So
yeah, I seen
we'll see.
Just Cole. Do you know Cole Seeley? He seems to ride mountain bikes a little bit too.
I don't know Cole Seeley too much, no. But no, there he's into it. No, yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing is pretty much as you were saying before. Like, I mean, as mountain bikes have got better, almost everyone's into it. If you're a moto guy, you're gonna have a mountain bike
nowadays. Exactly.
You know, it's not just a training tool anymore. It's like another hobby to have. You know? No,
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, almost, got to sort of look towards wrapping up. I want to be mindful of your time, dude. What's a normal week look like?
Oh, you're good, man.
What do you like? What's a normal week look like for you? What do you do? That's probably a silly question.
I've been quite. Yeah, it's asked quite a bit. Even by my own friends. They're always so like, what do you fucking do, man? Like. I do a little bit of everything, Okay. I do some part-time work here or there whenever it comes my way. My wife is has a great career, and she does very well for us. So, but I've been blessed just to be the man of the house, dude. I take care of shit. I get things ready for the weekend. The van, the trailer, the bikes, and the mechanic on the dirt bikes and the bicycles, the pit bikes, and as well just building. I'm just building around my house. I still have to finish my porch up, and just my father passed this last year, but we're staying on the same grounds as my mom, so we have some property here.
Oh, nice.
I built a tiny house, and like I said, I just got to finish the porch on that. But there's just endless jobs, never-ending stuff to do for yourself. So
yeah.
I just live, man. I train as well. I try to ride the bicycle as much as possible. I'm about to go on a
you said you were going on a road ride today. I was like, oh, cool, all right. And then so you're training just for the sake of training to keep fit.
Stay fit. Yeah. Sick. No, I treat myself as an athlete. Very very strict diet, stick to it, always have many years on it. So strict diet, and as well try to stay active, whether it's I stretch, got to stay stretching, myofascial release, rolling out, this and that. Yeah. But no, try to ride the bicycle at least 2 to 3 times a week. And then there's some weeks that you're busy just working and on your feet all day that's takes up your time, and it basically, puts the work in on your feet and your back to where you don't really have anything to go ride your bicycle. But for the most part, we ride the bicycle a lot. And then, like I said, I built some trails right here from my house, so whenever I can't ride, I ride from the house. So
mate, sounds good, man. Sounds like you've got a nice work-life balance going on right now, for sure.
No, yeah, it's good. So
I got to ask you too.
Good about things.
We've sort of spoke a little bit about your brother's career, especially coming up. So what's it like now for you to look at it as a retired dude? You know, you said you stick to a pretty strict diet. Is it safe to say your brother maybe hasn't stuck to such a strict diet and is enjoying his retirement a little, a little bit more, right?
Yeah, you know, I got to maybe enjoy myself when I was a kid,
Yeah.
a little more so than he did. And
is he making up for
you know,
it?
like when I was like 18, I got into dabbling on like recreational use of, you know, alcohol on your weekends, you know, nothing serious, no drugs, you know, natural substance here or there on your weekend, you know, like, but that was dabbled in it on the weekends. Like I said, like a recreational thing with the boys. Would go out on a weekend. It was never, and that was from 18 to 19, 18, 19, 20, you know, hit 20, then never even turned 21, never even went to a bar, you know. I never been to maybe one bar, two bars. So
really, wow.
Not really something, not a big drinker, nor a partier. So not something that really took my time, but my brother, he never got to do any of that. So now once he's retired, it seems like he's enjoying himself, you know, like kicking back the brewskis. And, no, he has the body type. He has the body type where he can kind of get bigger. I have a body type that doesn't matter what
you are
I
quite
put
different
down my
like
throat,
that,
dude.
right? Yeah.
Like I'm just lean and mean, man. It's just sad. It's a blessing and a curse somewhat, dude. I wish I could put some weight on, obviously for structural stability, like when you crash and whatnot. But no, I'm lean, mean, and weak when it comes to when you hit the ground, you hit the ground. So.
Lean, mean, and weak. Classic. That's funny. What something else I had that I wanted to ask you, which would be about like talent. We spoke quite a lot about having a sort of natural gift for things, but we also spoke, I guess, a little bit about not having a pushy parents, but definitely been pushed into certain things like racing more, riding more than a normal kid would do. Do you think talent is like manufactured, or is it just is that right? Manufactured or nurtured? I don't think that's right.
No. Well,
you know what I mean.
You can manufacture it and you can nurture it. It can be a natural thing and it can be produced at a total unnatural circumstances.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, I think it might be better to be an unnaturally talented person, or it become harder for you so that you had to work at it your whole life. Okay. You know, it wasn't easy for you.
Yeah.
Like Ryan, he got hurt. When he got back on the bike, it was a little bit harder for him to get back to his race speed. Yeah. I got hurt. I obviously got hurt more, so I trained my brain to when I come back, it was just nothing. It was like I've dealt with this before, you know. Like, but when I come back from taking time off my bike, like I haven't rode a motorcycle in a year, but when I come back to riding a motorcycle, it's as if I never got off of it. It's like I'm faster than when I got on it, which is just it's asinine. It's crazy, really.
Yeah.
But it's something that's just instilled into your brain and your muscle memory it's helped me out obviously on mountain biking and so many other aspects and fields, the athletic aspect of it, your exertion point and your physical output that you can you know it's at a higher level than the standard or average human. And it's because of motocross, but yeah, you were asking something about different, but
yeah, I don't know, I'm curious if it's I don't know, there's a lot of kids obviously that you see and whatever that are just natural on any sort of two-wheel thing, but
natural ability. I think I was just naturally gifted. It was easier for me to style skill. It was just easier somewhat and it is easier for some people. And then it's harder for others, you know, like somebody that's still doing it, Ben LeMay, which we grew up with Ben LeMay being around us. He's from Alaska, but he's still trying to race motocross and he's still doing it. Yeah. He's somebody that it was never just like a natural thing that he was like skilled to do what he was doing or skilled to be stylish or he had to physically, mentally work at it to be who he is, you know? So it's harder for others.
Interesting.
But to each his own, man. I mean, everybody has their own personality, their own skill, and their own way of doing it, their own style, and their personality honestly comes out in their riding or what they're trying to put out.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, for sure. And it is interesting. It's super sort of interesting topic, especially when you see people get to the top of the chosen sport, and you know, some have put in tons of dedication, and some have sort of it's just there. They don't really have to work too hard at it. It's kind of interesting.
And nowadays, most sports have been brought to like a hierarchy or a pinnacle or a peak somewhat. And we're all trying to be like, live for today and die for today, like superhero, like this, gods, or, we're trying to be more than what just a natural human being. All sports have been pushed, physical and as well in other fields. But I've seen in sports, there's things are so crazily, the bar has been heightened for sure, I'd say, in many fields. Motocross,
motocross
in trick sports, anything that has tricks involved in it now is like freestyle. You saw what freestyle motocross was at the beginning, and now what it is, it's absolutely crazy.
It's kind of hard to watch now because it goes past being relatable, I think. Where now you just go, I could never even.
It's crazy.
I could never even think of doing that. Whereas before, you see a Superman and you're like, I could give that a go. Probably done one by accident once or twice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Now you see.
No, these are things that you have to dedicate and basically, I don't want to say sell your soul, but you have to somewhat commit yourself and dedicate yourself to it 100% to make it happen. Like this, just like the freestyle dudes, that is their life. Obviously, that's why they're able to do those flips and tricks and like that. And they look just like nothing. It's just normal. It's natural. But it's not, obviously, to take a 300-pound machine and do all that crazy stuff with it.
No, it's not
that consistent. It's because obviously they've done it for so long. It's programmed into them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy, dude. It's progression in sport has just seemed to really accelerate over the last sort of, I'd say, 10 years for me. It's totally. Moto, the whole thing just accelerated like crazy. But it's just progression. But it's also cool to see how people can make a living out of a sport like moto or mountain biking and not necessarily be racing or winning or anything like that. You can turn your talents of filmmaking or whatever into a good job.
A lifestyle. It's an
exactly,
amazing thing
a lifestyle.
that has become something, and that's something I should have probably tried to jump in on massively, but like you were saying about
50-1. Those guys, apart from Josh, Bryce, the other guys are just riders. They don't really race too much. They just make a pretty good living out of riding bikes and having fun with friends.
Yeah. And that's great. It's so cool to see that, there's always that has worked for some people, obviously that lifestyle, social media, that can actually produce an actual livelihood, a job, it's an amazing thing, really. And
I'd like to see more from you, man.
More about it. I just am so recluse, man. I feel so, it's kind of hard. I feel fake about it. I was never, I don't want to say a poser, but somebody that's good at standing in front of the camera and like getting them angles or taking that extra time to get the shot of your day or your gear or your setup or I'm throwing fucking backwards whips on that. We need to at least get that shit and then give it to the public or the people, like rather than just I'm doing it. It's like it's too much. It's that much more extra. Yeah. But that's what you have to do, to be honest. It's
like the whole vlog thing, isn't it? It's like it's so much hard work to do that. I mean, I've tried once or twice doing a vlog, and I'm around people who make vlogs quite often, and it's just personally, I prefer it is a job, but I prefer like your attitude, to be honest, which is like I just want to ride my bike, and whether or not I threw that nasty whip and anyone saw it or not, it doesn't matter because it still happened. That you still remember it.
And I'm hoping that you don't gain too much on the social media aspect of like actual followers or the actual respect itself. But I think I hope some people come across, that you can see that their output is minute, but when they do put it output, it's real content to them, and it's natural content. There's some people I see that are very natural at putting something out every single day, and it's just a natural thing, and that's great. It's more power to you, but I don't know if it would be as natural or normal for me to try to put something out for the public every single day if the content is going to be what they want to see or what I want to put out. So it's definitely a hard thing to
it is, like you say, it's a full-time, it is a job, dude. It is, it's a game, it's a job, it's something that even with this like podcast thing, I don't really put that much effort into it. Like I keep it up to date, but I've never wanted to get into that like game of trying to win followers or whatever. I like this whole thing to be similar to you seem to be like with your riding. It's like people will find it when they want to find it, and that's, to me, that's totally fine. You know, the fact that I'm sat here talking to you right now is, like, I'm happy with that. If anyone wants to listen to it, it's cool. But I'm like, in a selfish way, I've enjoyed sitting and talking to you for an hour, so I'm cool. You know, I think it's not for any other reason other than
totally,
that.
Totally.
So
totally.
And I think people now get strung
up. People
up.
Can see it.
People get strung up
totally.
in this whole number at the end of an Instagram thing. And I was thinking the other day, because they're talking about banning TikTok in America, right? So how many people have put?
Is it because of the teenagers or something like that? Is that what it was?
I'm not sure, but I saw that there, and also there's some sort of conspiracy, or it might be true that TikTok's owned by the Chinese government. I think it's owned by something like that.
Yeah, something I've heard.
Yeah, so they're on about banning it, and how many people? It's really sad to think how many people have put so much effort into creating content on there to build up this following. Which, would you be happy with it if it just disappeared tomorrow? If someone just wiped it, you've got to be happy with that, if that makes sense. You've got to just be like, well, whatever, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I mean,
because when you're gone, it doesn't matter at all.
It's always something new. It's always something new. You know, it was MySpace, it was Facebook, now it's Instagram. It's Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, you know, that platform is going to be obsolete, and it's going to be something new, and you're going to have to somewhat restart over, or
try and cross over,
you know, find that new avenue to promote yourself, for sure. And there's some dudes that are great at it, you know, obviously, that people that live behind the lens, man, and are just naturally do it. I wish I could do it more. I'm going to try to do it more. I got all these ideas. I got so many like videos I want to do.
Really?
I got like this local spot. There's like a spot I can jump on top this roof and then like jump across another roof and then jump off a roof. It's like right downtown. Like there's a massive like manual into it, like a high speed, like 45 mile an hour manual into like this. Just a super cool scene, like raw BMX, almost mountain bike. But yeah, there's a bunch of little things I want to do. Something in Tacoma, you know, obviously I added at my house. But just taking the time to do it, you know, and putting the content out there.
Definitely.
And a lot of times the raw footage, everybody respects the raw footage. So just taking the time to do it, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, man, you're going to do a little more just for the people, because I think people are probably pretty surprised to see how good you ride a mountain bike if they're not already aware of you. I think it definitely came as and I'll be honest, like a bit of a shock to me. And that all started when I heard, you know, Kotick mention your name, and I was like, fuck, like he rides mountain bikes. Okay, let me have a look. And I was like, okay, he rides a mountain bike. Pretty good. Totally.
There's another company called Pipe Dream Cycles. I think that might be out of UK. Is that UK too? Pipe Dream Cycles. It's a smaller one.
I don't know them personally. They could be, but I don't know them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did you?
No worries.
You reach out to those guys too?
Yeah. Well, I think I know the owner of it. I believe is our affiliation to it, but Fun Components.
Oh right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm aware of
They helped me out my first year when I was riding with Sully. Actually, they helped me out for 2 years, and they gave us build kits. And then I was been wanting to reach out to them this year, and I never did, but which was super cool, you know, how certain things work. But they actually reached out to me, and which it felt good.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have affiliation with somebody that was your first affiliation in the industry, basically. And I'm hopefully trying to carry that out into the future and continue that relationship. So yeah, Fun Components is going to be helping us out, and obviously giving us build kit, this and that. So and then TRP has helped us out for 3 years now. 2 years they helped us, and then this year we're full factory support. So I mean, that type of respect and that type of help, it means the world, really. To come from motocross and to get, you know, certain stuff is easy, and then certain other stuff is harder, like OEM parts or the actual motorcycle from the company, or even hard parts. There's certain hard parts that, you know, like wheels or Talon hub from all the way over where you guys are. That stuff is not as easy to get or even get the deal on it. It's so to come to mountain biking to get similar or the same respect.
That's cool.
It means a lot. So the TRP's helped out. Fun Components has helped out. Afton Shoes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Has helped out this year.
Yeah.
and that means a lot. You know, the shoe support. You know, my brother, he was sponsored over the years for many shoes, and he had his own shoe line. You know, his own branding. I'm going to shoe this or that, but just to have a shoe sponsor, it means a lot. And as well, there's a couple other people helping out, but it just means the world, man.
Dude, for sure. There's a bunch of people who listen to this, you know, industry people, that I think you might be surprised, man. I think you might be hearing from some people after this, if I'm honest. I think you might be pleasantly surprised. You are.
No, yeah. Well, it was cool. It was cool to see your channel blow up, man. You really linked up with some.
Yeah, it's doing good, man. It's doing good. I've been super lucky that sort of this whole thing started just talking to friends, and then over time, you know, we've had bigger and bigger guests from, I mean, yeah, you know who's been on here. Don't have to name drop anyone. And then it's just become a legit thing now, man. It's so much fun. I get to talk to cool people, and the guests become good friends too, which is, I think, the best thing about this whole process of starting this podcast has been that, you know, you meet people online, literally, and you sit and have a conversation with for, I don't know, let's say an hour and 30 minutes, but it's a very strange relationship you can get with some people, because you talk about some pretty dark stuff sometimes. You know, we've had guests on that talk about mental health, or you know, open up about the deepest, darkest secrets, and these people become like actual friends after, and that's what I've enjoyed most about this whole process, is I've got like some legit good mates out of doing this. Whether they're professional riders or industry people or whatever, man, it's been amazing to sort of meet some cool people, and I'm just stoked that I've started doing this. I mean, been 4 and a bit years, we just tipped over 100 episodes, and it's hard work, but
yeah, dude, that's great.
It's kind of rewarding too, man.
You're killing it, dude. You're putting in the work, and that's what it takes, man.
Kind of like just going outside of our little bubble of mountain biking too more. That's why, again, I was super interested to talk to you, you know, as well about your career in moto, because it's a fucking interesting story, man. You've lived hell of a life by the sounds of things. A very unique but fun and crazy life, I think.
No, yeah, totally. I thank you, and I appreciate the respect, man, and the time, you know, and like I said, you reached out to me, and it was cool. It just like the sponsors, TRP, and all these people the people that do help out.
Yeah.
No, it means a lot that somebody in the industry, even like yourself, man, was interested to hearing my story, or interested in me transitioning over into mountain biking in the industry and the community, because.
So would you say you're all mountain bike now? If it was a percentage of moto to mountain bike, where are we at?
Well, basically right now we're 100% mountain bike. But so I've turned 30 this year, and I'm, you know, like my skill on the mountain bike it just keeps going up. I just keep, you know, progressing, and it's great. And I didn't think it was. I thought I was kind of. It's cool to keep stepping up, even that I feel like I'm as good as I can be on 2 wheels on motocross. You know, that I've got to this hierarchy of like my self skill at least.
Yeah.
And that's not like career wise, but just the skill on the bike itself. But I feel like that is translated directly over into mountain biking. And I've been wanting to ride the motorcycle for social media bits as well. You know, like to do both, I think is smart.
Okay.
It's smart for twice as much content. If I would have been at the track at least twice this year, there would have been, you know, more content. And whenever I do throw the leg over the motorcycle, like I said, it happens 10 times in 3 years. It's so rare, and when it happens, it's like a eclipse or a blue moon, man. You somewhat have to try to take it in if you can. When I do it, it's just here or there, and it's a 2-stroke, and I've been hanging off the bike and just abusing myself. And I've turned 30, and I'm like, man, let's use your skill, your know-how, your abilities. Let's possibly try to get a 4-stroke or a 450.
Okay.
So next year, I've been talking to a couple of shops. I've talked to my brother, you know, trying to get a bike through Yamaha, but it's not really that much of a deal. It's still a pretty penny.
Okay.
And I'm investing massively into mountain biking tour. I don't know if I want to invest
into
moto.
That too.
So,
yeah.
Like I got, you know, the road bike. I got a dirt jumper. I've got a stump jumper. I've got the downhill. You know, my wife just got a brand new downhill. She's got a stumpy, and I'm trying to get an e-bike here, and like I'm trying to get an e-bike real soon.
Okay. So, all right.
So yeah, I'm like,
so the garage is stacked. We don't need them.
There's
don't need
too
a
many
motocross
bikes.
bike in there anymore.
It's ridiculous how many bikes are in the garage, especially before we took, like, for a while we had my brother's memorabilia bikes in here, and I had like 4 dirt bikes and 3 scooters and 3 of my dad's dirt bikes and 5 of my brother's dirt bikes and 10 bicycles. It was like fucking. Jeez. Basically, I wish they were all out there right now, because if I showed you, it would just look like a junkyard museum / fucking like.
Yeah, the Villopoto factory tour.
So,
there you go. You could open that up, man, as a museum or something.
But no, so I think I'm trying to get a 450 for next year, and I actually want to go use my skill and talent to show up at the track and not be at a disadvantage, because I've been going to the track last 4 years on a 250, and not a new 250 like a KTM or a Husky, which is current geometry. The motor is faster for sure, produces a cleaner, better power. I've been showing up on the 2002 CR250, and I've been riding against all the locals and the boys, and I've raced it a few times, and just biting at everybody's heels, and just eating roost all day. So I'm too old for that. I'm like trying to get on a 4-stroke and actually go out there and make my money back.
Do some local races
use
and
my
stuff.
Skills, sit on the bike square, and not have to like fucking hang off the thing, So that might come together next year. I'm talking to a shop right now, and maybe they'll let me use a bike, and I'll
that could be cool, man.
On that whole aspect of riding motorcycles and mountain bike, next summer it might be different, but if that doesn't come together, then we're no moto at all, 100% mountain bikes.
Okay, all right. Get some points, man. Go do a World Cup and just document it. It'd be such cool content.
I wish, especially a certain weekend. Like, there's probably a certain track that I feel like I might do better on, and obviously that's the track I wish that I would like to be on. But as well, like, I was dreaming and talking this and that, a complete season would be ideal, obviously, to learn the most from it. If you had a team, and you learn from the team and the program and everybody involved, other riders. And then weekend after weekend, it's different weekends, and just I think that would be obviously a dream at this point.
Yeah.
But
see how it goes, man. I mean, just go with the flow, isn't it? It seems like you're pretty good at just going with the flow. So
no, yeah, I'm happy with where we are, and what's to come is to come, man. So I'm not too worried about it.
Sick. All right, dude. Well, it's been a blast sitting and chatting. I'm super glad we finally got this to happen. Sorry it took so long. It took, like we said, 6 months or something to be able to do this, but
all good, dude.
Part of the family now, man. If you ever want to jump on here and just riff, then you're more than welcome.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah, mate, thank you so much for taking time out. If anyone doesn't already follow you, what's your Instagram handle again? I'll put it in the show description, but
yeah, I think it's just Tyler Villopoto.
Yeah, okay. It'll all be in the show description. So yeah, if you're listening, hopefully you are listening, people. Go check Tyler's Instagram out. It's pretty wild.
Of this thing and throw it up on my Insta, dog. I'll actually have to put something up.
You might have to do something now, man. Promote this thing.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll send you all the stuff over.
You help me out. You got to post for me. I don't even have to try to think about it. It's already thought about and done.
For sure. Sick. All right, dude. Again, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you for taking time out.
No worries, dude. Thank you. Serious, man. If I ever do make it to UK, we're gonna have to chill, man. We'll have to link.
Oh yeah, we'll ride.
And if you make it to America, you have a free place to stay, dude. A nice home to stay in.
So. Very kind, very, very kind of you, man. Very kind. Don't be surprised if I turn up as soon as this travel ban's lifted. I'll be like, so, dude. Hello.
Yeah, dude. Serious.
Let's ride,
awesome, dude. I would show you around, man.
Okay, maybe we can make that happen, mate. That'd be pretty rad. There's some people over there that I want to come hang out with, so yeah, maybe we can make that happen. Cool.
Awesome, man.
All right. Well, wait there. I'm just going to pause this recording, and